Alright, what is going on, everybody? This is Trudger MC, and last week I decided to look at Batman from The Batman. Today we are looking at Selina Kyle from The Batman. You might say, oh, but Trudger, this is Catwoman. She just doesn't have her mask on. No. Clearly, this is Selina Kyle that doesn't have her mask on. Yes, this is definitely the case. So, yeah, we are looking at the Zoe Kravitz Catwoman figure, the unmasked one. Not the initial one that had the mask over basically her whole face, and not the gold label one that's movie accurate. No, this is the unmasked one. And in case you're wondering, here she is compared to Vengeance. And fun fact about this guy, in my review, his arm came off. I kid you not, as soon as the recording ended, I was like, okay, let me try one more time. I popped it in, no problem. So, yeah, his arm is in place now, but, yeah, so there they are, stacked up against each other. I think they work kind of well. And then, just for fun, because I bring this guy in all the time now, here he is with her. You know, Marvel selects Spider-Man. He needs no introduction at this point. And if you're wondering how tall she actually is, if that scale doesn't really mean anything to you, well, let's find out. She does have heels, so she, in real life, wouldn't be this tall. Well, of course, real life Zoe Kravitz isn't this tall, but I mean, like, the figure. So, with the heels going down to the bottom to the top of her head, looks like she is about 6 3/4 inches, give or take. And then, if you flip that around to centimeters, again, going from the bottom of her feet to the top of her head, looks like she's about 17.5 centimeters, give or take. So, here is again, this is not Catwoman Unmasked, this is Selina Kyle Unmasked, yes, very clearly. Yeah, I think that, the likeness is there enough. These figures were made before the movie came out, obviously. That's not the case now, because the movie is out and it's been out for a while now, and it is celebrated as one of the best Batman movies, and I would agree. Now, is this the best likeness to Zoe Kravitz? Is it absolutely perfect? No, but at the same time, this is a mass-produced $20 figure. So I think for $20, it's good, and at the end of the day, you know, you're not trying to say that, oh, this is Zoe Kravitz as Catwoman. It's like, no, this is the Matt Reeves movie version of Catwoman. And I think for that it's good, but it does also have kind of a comic look to it where you could kind of fit her in with a comic display, and I think it would work. So this is a very particular look for Catwoman. She does kind of have the ends of her mask, or her hood, or, you know, whatever you want to call that, her hat. I wouldn't really call it a hat, but, you know, if you've seen the movie, you know what that kind of is. So, yeah, it does have the things on the end there to simulate her cat ears. And, yeah. So, you have a kind of collar piece around her neck there. And then, for the most part, it's kind of like this matte black. Like, there is some, like, glossy black, like, with her hands and the collar, and then, like, her ankles, for some reason, are like that, too. But for the most part, she's, like, a matte black, and she does have some, like, dark gray on there. You can kind of see it there with the diaper piece, kind of, if my thing will choose to focus on that. There we go. So, yeah, it's pretty good, and I think it looks good for what it is, because it's supposed to be kind of like this, well, I don't really know exactly what this material is like. I'm guessing some kind of a leather. I think it looks like that, and I think it works. I also like that there's some texture to it, like here on the arms. You can see that there's just, you know, a little bit of, like, line work on there. It's the same kind of thing with the knees over there. And then, yeah, I think that overall, I think that has a good look to it. And, yeah, that's about all I have to say with the aesthetic. As far as articulation, she can look up about that much comfortably without trying to rip her head off. And then looking down, she can go down about that much. So that's pretty good. She does have the typical McFarlane, you know, type double ball joint thing where she can, you know, look around, including her side eye. She can just kind of be like, eh. Yeah, what is this? But yeah, so there's that. And then for arms, they can go up better than um better than just straight out, so better than horizontal. That's pretty good. She can be like, "Yay, you did it, Batman," but that's not what she's like in the movie at all. Yeah, they can rotate around. You do have a bicep swivel, which does look kind of weird. It does break up the sculpt a little bit, so maybe not do that, but it is available. If you want to break up the sculpt, it's all good. And then she does have a double jointed elbow. Oh my goodness, I just broke her arm. So, yeah, double jointed elbow. I think it looks pretty good. I think McFarlane should make more elbow joints like this. They're more flush instead of just having a big chunk out of the arm. If you collect McFarlane figures, you probably have noticed that. And then for the wrists, this is a separate piece, by the way. It's just kind of on there. As far as I can tell, the hands actually don't come off, at least not easily. So it's not like you can detach this, but it does kind of impede the articulation. But without these, it would just be a traditional thing. But yeah, so yeah, I guess on this side it's a little better where you can kind of see what joint that is, and then it can kind of go back and forth like that. So yeah, so that's about it for the arms, and then for the torso, it's kind of hard to tell, but if you use both joints, they're both kind of tight, but altogether, she can go back comfortably about that far, so like barely at all, and then going forward, that's okay, interesting. So it looks like I'm not an expert on action figures or anything like that, but it looks like for this top joint here, it goes forward, and then for this bottom joint here, it goes back. At least it goes back. At least this one goes forward better, and this one goes back better. I think that's kind of weird, but yeah, maybe that's just the one that I have. I don't know. Um, but yeah, so that's kind of weird. She's not really, she can't really like lean forward, all that much, and she can't really look down all that far. So, yeah, she can't be all depressed, but yeah, that's all good. She's not supposed to be all depressed. So going out forward looks like about that far comfortably without stretching the diaper too much, and then going back looks like about that far. So she can actually go back a little bit better than forward. Yeah, she can't really go much higher than that. And then for going out to the sides, because she's Catwoman, she's got to be all acrobatic and stuff. And she can, in fact, be all acrobatic and stuff, at least in doing the splits. So that's pretty good. And then there's not a thigh cut, but there is, in fact, a double jointed knee, as you would come to expect. Again, if you collect McFarlane toys, it's like it's honestly surprising if the figure doesn't have a double jointed knee. So yeah, that's pretty good. And then with the ankles, they don't really make ankles like this anymore. This kind of shows the figure's age a little bit. It looks really weird. It's just a giant ball. And yeah, it can go back that far. It can go forward really far. That's probably not very natural, but it's all good. And then she does have a toe articulation. Again, it's kind of a staple with McFarlane toys. It's like, doesn't come with a toe joint. What is this? But yeah, so there is that. So pretty standard stuff, although the ankles do look really weird, but that's okay. And then as far as other standard stuff is concerned, you would expect that she comes with a display stand, and she does. And then she also comes with a trading card. Again, I emphasize that this is not Catwoman. This is Selina Kyle without her mask. But this is from the Batman movie, which is called The Batman. And if you don't believe me, then there we go. So there's that, and then you get a little read up here as far as who she is, what she's all about. So if you're interested in reading that, go ahead. And if you're not, well, then you might be interested that she comes with a whip. But it's not a flexible whip, it's a pre-posed, wound up whip. So what you can do, I can't really tell which side is supposed to be the handle, but I'm guessing it's this bigger one, because her open hand, she doesn't come with alternate hands, but her open hand is kind of open by quite a bit. So what you can do is you can kind of feed it in there like that, which you can be like, don't make me, like uncoil all this and then I'll hit you with it. Don't make me do that. But what you could also do, an interesting way that you can pose her is you can like bring this around her arm, hold it like that, and then you can have her you can bring her hand over. I've done this before. Of course, now that the camera is on, there's pressure to get it right, and I'm going to mess it up. But, yeah, basically what you can do is you can have her, hold it like that. And I think that looks pretty cool. So she can be like, yes, I am here on my mission with my whip. So I think that's a pretty cool look. I think that's kind of the way. You could also have, because her other hand is a fist, you could kind of have her other hand up here. Not because she's trying to punch herself in the face, but you could kind of simulate that she's about to put her mask on. So I think that's a pretty cool look. Yeah, there's that. And I'm putting her on this display stand because she has a really hard time standing without it. But then let's take a look at the box here. So again, there's the Batman logo, Selina Kyle Unmasked. Kind of weird. And then here is the shot that's on the trading card, but it's blown up. You will notice that she comes with on the trading card. The image here, she comes with like this rope that kind of coils around her whole body. She doesn't come with that in this thing. Kind of like how the Batman figure, like this one here, it showed on the image that he's like holding a cowl, but he didn't come with a cowl. So I thought that was kind of weird. Similar thing with Riddler, spoiler alert. We're going to be looking at Riddler next. Yeah, it's kind of an interesting thing there, but you know what? It's all good. So I would actually recommend this figure. I really like the texture that's on it. It's just kind of a thing that's like, how do you want this particular Catwoman to look? Do you want her without the mask? Or do you want her with the inaccurate mask that basically covers her entire face? Or do you want the harder to find gold label one where it's accurate, where it's, her eyes showing and the bottom of her face with her mouth? So it's kind of up to you. This is the one that I got, so this is the only one that I can review. But yeah, other than that, that's all I got. So if you enjoyed this, then do be sure to leave a like. And if you are interested in the upcoming Riddler review, then do be sure to subscribe. And if you have any other thoughts on this figure or other Catwoman figures or that kind of thing, then leave a comment down below. And other than that, I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you all later. Goodbye.